Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca. Welcome back to My Bookish Travels. Today I bring you a new round of mini reviews. These are the next 5 books that I have read so far this year, and we've got like a nice mixture of books and ones with feelings and all of that. So I'm not going to take up much of your time talking about all the preliminary things. Let's jump into it. The first book that I ended up reading that I want to discuss is called The Illegal. It was one that I was like, all right, this is an Audible Editor's Extra. It's a free one. Probably not something I would just pick up on my own. So this is a great way to try. There's multiple points of view, which can get really confusing. I didn't realize that the world it was set in was supposed to be a dystopian, and there was just a lot of description for running beyond what I could focus on. And that I am glad that I did get the opportunity to listen to for free as an editor's extra, because I probably wouldn't have picked it up otherwise. So it did let me know that if running is going to be a main focus of a story, probably not one that I'll pick up, just because I don't find it intriguing enough to have it be a large part of the story. The other thing is, it's also one that I'm glad I did have in an audio format, because if I had it in a written, probably would not have finished it. So there's two positive things about this situation with this book. So unfortunately it wasn't for me, but that's not to say that it's not a good book for someone else. The next book that I read was I So Don't Do Mysteries. This one is a middle grade that I wanted to love. And I thought this was going to be kind of a funny story where it's going to give me kind of like Sherlock Holmes vibes in middle grade. And I'm going to find out why this character is named after Sherlock Holmes. There is no reference to Sherlock Holmes, aside from that being her name, legally. And there was just too many surrounding things outside of the mystery element that did not work for me as a middle grade. So I'm going to say 10 years ago when I got this, probably would have really enjoyed this and wanted to continue on reading the series. But where I am currently, unfortunately, it's just, there's too much. So I couldn't actually take enjoyment in reading the full resolution of the mystery. And that's why this wasn't for me currently, but maybe in someone else's hands, they will really enjoy it. The next one that I have to mention, it's not going to be a long one to chat about, but it is Star Wars, The Visual Dictionary. I finally read this. It was gifted by my grandfather back in 1999. I really enjoyed sitting down and reading through this where I am now. I know that when I was younger, I used to flip through and look at all of the photos and like point out the characters and some of the equipment and whatnot. I enjoyed reading through because there's certain things that are mentioned in here that if you guys are interested in reading like a really good nonfiction of Star Wars history, The Secret History of Star Wars, I listened to that on Audible and I really enjoyed it. I think I would love to get like a physical hard copy of it to actually like put some tabs in, maybe highlight or underline some specifics, because I just found it such an interesting book history-wise for this universe that they've created, and I just really enjoyed going and reading through in here. It was a lot of fun. So now we come to the final two. So the fourth one I want to discuss is called Starters by Lissa Price. I did not know if I was going to like this or not. About page 11, I ended up getting some COVID triggers, which I didn't think that I would ever say I had. And it's more so because you see the character walking through these empty streets on her own, and it just looks so barren and creepy and spooky. It's her and her alone, no one else around her. And I got that vibe a lot when I was working during COVID. So I worked straight through COVID. I had to drive into office and home from the office every single shift. And anytime that I was going to or from work, there was no one else. Sometimes I wouldn't see another car on the road. So it felt very similar to that. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. Like, oh my word, what about dystopians? Like, am I going to hate dystopians now that I've gone through my own dystopia? And I all of a sudden hit a certain point and I was just like fully engaged in the story, fully engaged with what's happening, decisions being made. Everything I thought that was going to happen in this story did not happen. The author had it go a complete different way. And I was amazed and I loved it so much. This was really good. I actually ended up giving it, I believe, 5 stars. I can't wait to read the rest in this series. And as much as I really want to read them, because I'm on a no buying ban this year, and I have done really well, I have not bought a single book so far this year, I'm going to have to hold off on purchasing them. But moving into the 5th one, this had a short story included in this one, and it is Portrait of a Spore, but it's short. I thought it was really well done. I believe I gave it 3 stars because it's not a small, like I bet you it's maybe about 30 to 40 pages for the short story. And I loved the format of the writing because you have kind of what happens before this story begins for a spore, which the spore is kind of, it was used in like a chemical warfare of sorts. It definitely gave a lot of COVID vibes. Like they even talk about getting the vaccination and how it was like the older and then it was like the younger. But it gave the history of what happened in Starters prior to this story. So you kind of get to see our main character, Callie, with her mom, her dad, and her brother. And then you also have some viewpoints from the spore, which I was like, I don't know. That sounds so weird. Is it really, after you read that short story, is it really weird that we're getting the spore's point of view? No, it's not. Like, I was just blown away. It was so well done. This one I highly recommend if you guys haven't picked it up. It is such a good dystopian. I don't know how it's going to end. I'm really intrigued by it, but like I'm hooked. I'm ready and I'm willing it to happen. Like I have a theory. Is that theory correct? Or is it wrong? I don't know. The author has me so like unsure of any decision I make with this series that like I don't know how it's going to go. But I do know that I really want to finish this one. It's so good. I definitely am going to be keeping this on my shelf. And if people say recommend a dystopian, boom, have you read this? I feel like not a lot of people have. And it's so well written. And I'm so amazed that people haven't. I also want to mention I really love the original hardcovers. They're like, it almost looks like it's a snowfall white and the character has like a blue and a green eye. And on Starters, it's a girl. And then on Enders, it's a boy. And as much as I love these paperback ones with the vibrant colors, like it definitely gives like the vibe that you're getting from the story. But I also feel like the original covers do the same. I don't know how to explain it. Go and look at the covers and let me know your thoughts. But that's it for today. Those are all of the reviews that I wanted to share with my thoughts. I'm glad I get to kind of finish on a high note because the starting two just were not the best. Those ones did take me a bit to get through. But anyway, until next time, I hope you guys stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next time. Bye!